This is George Dionne of the Rock is George podcast, and this is a KNAC.com exclusive interview with guitarist Mark Kendall of the hard rock blues act, Great White. I usually ask everybody the same first question. If I knew absolutely nothing about Great White, how would you describe the band's music to me?
Blues overtones, rock, pretty much straight ahead rock, kind of catchy hooks and stuff. Everybody has different influences in the band, and mine mostly comes from the blues. So you hear that, even though we have keyboards, you can hear, you're going, man, there's some blues in there. So what is that, B.B. King or something? So it's when we all get together, it makes it sound just like any other band. Something happens when you play with certain people.
Great White's got a show coming up at the Warehouse Live Midtown in Houston, Texas on April 26th with Quiet Riot, Slaughter, and Lilac. You guys are no strangers to playing Texas. Is there something about the area that you like, or the fans in particular?
Fans are always great there. Everywhere we play in Texas, they're in front of the stage singing the songs. I mean, played there for many years, all over Texas, and we love the fans there. Our fans are so loyal. It's pretty amazing, because I don't care what band you're in or how big you think you are. The fans you're always blown away. At least I am. I can't believe, they're so close to the music, because basically we all grew up together, So there's a lot of memories there, just like I have memories. I'm a big fan myself. You could throw a song out there and I could tell you where I was and what I was doing, you know what I mean? So to be part of that with other people and with our music is, it's special.
You have a new vocalist. He's been in the band for about a year and a half now, BRETT CARLISLE. How obviously things are working out well with him.
Yeah, I've been having him out recording down new stuff, because I really, I want him to be inspired and just not singing our songs perfect, but, put his name on some new stuff. So we've been recording. I got a friend, his studio's a little bit more upgraded than mine. This guy, Tracy G, is like a teenage friend of mine who was in Dio, and, he just has a better studio. So I go down there and lay down ideas, and then I have Brett out and go, check this out. And we sit together, and it's coming out amazing. So we're not sure how we're going to put it out with, this day and age. We're talking to a lot of people about it, because we don't want the music to kind of get lost, with this downloading world. It's not like when we were growing up, we'd buy a record and sit there and listen to Physical Graffiti like all day. You know what I mean? Now they just download a couple songs from this guy, a couple songs, So we're thinking maybe the idea could be just put 2 or 3 songs out, maybe a video, and just keep coming with 3 at a time, or, something that way the music isn't wasted, like it actually gets to the people. That's all we're concerned about. We know it's going to be free on the internet immediately. So, but I always, even in our heyday, I was always more interested in the feedback. I want people to tell me, man, I really like this song, or I hate it, or whatever. I used to go straight to a friend of mine as soon as we were done, before it was out or anything, because you got to wait about 4 months. So I'd ask him, I go, man, please tell me I'm great. Tell me something good. He would always pick the singles, and the guy can't hold a tune in a bucket. I mean, he's so tone deaf. It's insane, but he can listen. And I'm like, he can always pick the single. I'm going, what are you judging by? Is it the beat? He goes, I don't know. I just, so there's no answer there, but I always like to get the feedback, because I want to know, you have to wait this waiting period after you finish a record to find out if you're good or not, or people are going to be accepting. So it's a frustrating time. So I always race to all my friends and play it for them. So that's what I'm more interested in than the dollars, really. Is what people think, and maybe we have a chance to create some more memories.
Absolutely. Now, when it came to recruiting Brett Carlile, were you a little bit apprehensive that he's in his 20s and Great White, the band, is in their 40s?
Yeah, he's in his late 20s. But believe it or not, he's kind of an old soul in a way. Like nothing overwhelms the guy. He just goes out and just, totally handles it every night, engages the crowd. He's real good with the interaction. He sings perfect all the time. And he's got really good song sense for a young man. Like I'm used to feeding people melody ideas when I write a song because that's the way I do it. Everybody has their own way to do it. But I always know that there's a lot of melody available, and he sometimes comes up with something like way better than I had, so that's a good sign. And the way he delivers the new stuff, he really has a good handle on the music. And I don't know, it's like, I think he was born in the wrong time or something. I don't know. You know what I mean? In other words, we can stand together, and it's not like he's standing next to, his grandpa or something. It's not like we're Crosby, Stills and Nash, and what's that 13-year-old doing there? You know what I mean? So when we stand together, it just looks like a band. It doesn't look like we're with a little kid or anything. A little better looking than us, but apart from that.
So for this show at Warehouse Live Midtown in Texas, what can fans expect in the set list? Greatest hits, or maybe some deep cuts in there as well?
Yeah. We play the stuff people were expecting to hear, but we have jams, we have deep cuts, we go all the way back to the first album, so we're thrown in, because this singer Brett, his range is from A to Z. There's nothing in our catalog he can't sing perfect. So it allows us to go back and grab maybe a song that was kind of what they call a turntable hit, but never really a radio hit that the fans know about. And we like to keep it exciting for ourselves as well by changing things around a little bit. And with our jams, we never know exactly how we're going to do it. So that creates a little excitement. If you go out there and everything that's going to happen before it does, it's like, we don't want to go out there and go through the motions. I get really pumped. I'm actually kind of scared to death until after I get through the first song. I still get that adrenaline. I won't say it's, coffee flying out the nose, but I can feel it, the excitement right before I go on, like that minute before, and just go out and then I'm pretty comfortable. But it's great to play live, because when the song ends, if you're good or not. When you record a song, you don't know. You got to wait and have people say you suck or it's great. But at the end of a song, when you play live, it's like, yeah, okay, now I feel better.
You guys have Slaughter opening up on the bill. Have you run did you run in the same circles as Slaughter back in the day?
Yeah, we played, we didn't really play with them back in the day, but I've always known them. I knew the bass player from when I was a young teenager. In fact, he played in a lot of bands locally. I knew Mark all the way back to when he was in Vinnie Vincent. He was like a teenager. He was like 19, I think. And so we have history in that sense, but we never toured, together in our heyday. We in the 80s or 90s. we were playing with like Scorpions, Judas Priest, Whitesnake, you know, Night Ranger. It just somehow we didn't cross paths then, but yeah, they're good buddies. You know, we have more. It was more of a rival back in the day. Now we want to play good. I mean, we keep the fire under each other's butts, but it's not so cutthroat. You know, not a lot of like they suck vibe. You know, because I think everybody has the attitude like, check it out, dude. We're still here, man. This is rocking. You know, this is badass. And the fans are here too, man. Let's go out and, you know, kick ass. So it's, yeah, you know, things change.
About Quiet Riot, do you guys have a history together, or is it more of a, you know, modern?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. 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 You know, we all came up at the same time, you know, the early 80s. And, in fact, before we even had a record deal, we had a song playing on KMET. We had a distribution deal with a 5-song EP, and it was unbelievable. Somehow, through my manager's connections with this guy and that guy, they're playing us in rotation, you know, with Tom Petty. I'm just like, we're so dumbfounded. We're going, what? How does this happen? You know, I guess it's who you know or whatever. But that actually got us our opportunity to be with a major label and go on tour and stuff. So, you know, your stars definitely have to line up. But I feel like, you know, we worked pretty hard. We played a lot, man. But Quiet Riot, yeah. Rudy Sarzo, you know, I used to go see them play when I was like 15 with Randy Rhoads and whatnot, you know, when they had a couple lineups along the way. And actually, Rudy and I are sober friends. You know, we both have like multiple years of sobriety. So when we get together, you know, probably back in the day, we'd be talking about girls and, you know, stuff like that. But now it's like, you know, who's your rehab guy? You should come look at mine, you know, shit like that. But yeah, Quiet Riot, they came up actually a little before us, in fact. And we came out kind of in 82. And our first tour was with Whitesnake in 83 in Europe, UK. And then we came back with Judas Priest for about 6 months. So I'm telling you, man, we were green. It was green. But those bands, you know, they were really nice. They took us under their wing and treated us great, made us feel comfortable, just said, get out there and kick ass, you know, do well. You know, it wasn't like they wanted the opening acts to suck and then they come out and they're all bitching. They wanted us to do good. So that was cool.
So Beyond the Texas show on the 26th, Great White is going to be pretty much touring across the country all the way through November 2024. Pretty extensive tour, doing the Weekend Warrior thing though, right?
Yeah, kind of the Weekend Warrior thing. Because, you know, back in the day, we could go out on, you know, have multiple buses, multiple 18-wheelers with a 30-man crew, because we were selling records and like tons of T-shirts, and we were on the radio and MTV, and, you know, things were really rolling for us. When you strip all that away, it's like you can't have tons of overhead, you know. So we just want to get out there and get our music to the people and the best way we can. And the fly dates, even though it's a lot tougher because you can't sleep really. Like if you do 3 shows in a row, you play, and then you've got to be in the lobby at 4 a.m. to get to the sound check. You know what I mean? So it's kind of brutal, but we're the masters of the power nap, so it's all working out.
Excellent. 2024 is the 40th anniversary of Great White's self-titled debut. Kind of an album I don't think gets a lot of praise, but it should get a lot of praise. I think it's underrated. It's a little gritty. It's a little more raw than what you're known for. What do you remember about putting the album together?
Loved it. We flew out Michael Wagner to do from Germany to do the EP, and then he did the first record. He's kind of a heavy metal dude, he loves heavy rock. He did Accept, Balls to the Wall. He did that album, all their records, in fact. So apart from language barrier, but actually it was quite humorous. His language barrier was, and the thing I loved about it is he didn't know any euphemisms. He didn't know about our soft language and how to make a man feel good. And, so he was very direct, but in kind of a funny way. Like if the singer sang a bad note or didn't do a good performance, he'd just say, "Don't sing flat." He wouldn't say, like, "Hey, I think you can get one better, buddy. Good going though." But he didn't know the language well enough to talk around anything. So I loved it. And we did a great record with him. In 2017, we did another album with him. And he's in Nashville. And it was just great, man. Same old. He's so professional and such a taskmaster. He's done Ozzy and, Alice Cooper, and just he sold like 100 million records, right? So, I mean, the guy knows what he's doing when he's twisting those knobs, right? So, but besides that, he's such a good friend and just the greatest guy ever. His sense of humor is insane. When he first came here, I sold him a station wagon for $300. I mean, like, look how far the guy came. He just became a superstar, behind the scenes. But yeah, that first album, we didn't have any big radio hits really. MTV would play us like at 4 a.m. or whatever. But one thing it did do for us, even though we got dropped after that album, was we built a fan base now, around the country to where people knew who we are now. Now, if we can just go in the studio and get it right, maybe we'll give ourselves a chance. And luckily for us, we made our own record in KLOS, a radio station in Los Angeles. They made Face a Day, the song, the #2 song of the year. And because of that, we got our second opportunity. But now we were really, we had to go in and get it right. We had to do something that was going to get people's attention, and lucked out. Came out with Rock Me. It took off and did good. So that second opportunity don't always come.
I know it gets a little tricky with re-releasing old music, but I feel like after 40 plus years, Great White's due for kind of a release of their older material on vinyl, now that vinyl's kind of making a comeback. How much say do you have as someone being in Great White on making something like this happen?
It's been talked about. Our lawyer told us about it. We can own the rights to all our catalog and do that. We just haven't done it yet. I guess we're getting a little bit lazy. But yeah, it's definitely an idea to get the music back out. And vinyl, speaking of vinyl, I kind of forgot how good it sounded because I don't have a turntable at home, but my drummer does. A few months ago, I'm at his house and he's playing Foreigner 4. He has a real nice stereo. And I go, dude, I forgot about this sound. This sound is insane. It's warm, but it's punchy. And the clarity and the separation and just the sonics of it, and I'm not saying anything bad about CDs, but I think they're always comparing it to analog. They're always saying it goes so fast now you can hardly tell, So, why would they say that if analog wasn't the greatest? There's something to say about recording on that 2-inch tape and that analog. You can almost picture the band like when you listen to it. It's just I've been away from it so long. And when CDs came out, they said, it was really clear. Like I'm hearing the clarity just seemed really intense. but I think they just kind of carved out all the warmth or something. It just kind of tricked you into it being better or something. And like I said, I'm not saying anything bad. It's just I've been away from analog and vinyl for so long. I was shocked how good that sounded. I couldn't believe it. It was just totally amazing. So vinyl's cool. You got the good idea there. You know, put it all out on vinyl, man.
So I'm going to date us both here. Not that I didn't date you with your first album, but I last interviewed you 20 years ago, almost 20 years ago, when you released your solo album 2.0. And I was kind of surprised. I was kind of surprised that you haven't released the follow-up since then.
Yeah, I know. It's just we're always so damn busy, and other people have said that too. And I talked about it recently, and I can do it now. I have enough time in between these shows, so I will definitely do it. It was a lot of fun. Kind of a pain in the ass to sing, but you know, that was the hardest part about it, was singing. You know, because my range is so limited. I'm like, you know, Hendrix. You know, I'm not like a tenor, like, but I kind of made it work. You know, I had people background singing and stuff that kind of support my vocal. But yeah, I think I can do a better one too. I really feel that I could do something better than I did. I didn't spend hardly any time writing those songs. I literally, I rehearsed with these guys for 2 days. You know, the bass player was the drummer in Tower of Power for like 5 years, but he played bass. He's one of these guys that, you know, world-class piano, but, you know, probably never played the Little League or any kind of, you know, wasn't in scouts as a kid, you know. He's probably just behind some instrument. So that guy was insane. And he told me that, he goes, I know a drummer that's perfect for your music. And I didn't deny him. I go, God, you're a drummer in Tower Power and you're suggesting a drummer? It's got to be right, you know? And sure enough, the guy was kind of unknown, but he was really killer. And Jane Getz, the piano player on that, she only played on a track or two, but she jammed with John Lennon, one time jammed live with Hendrix. You know, she was kind of a jazz person. And her husband, this guy, Bob, I can't even think of his last name now, but he had Grammys for the Temptations. I recorded at their house in North Hollywood, like in the studio. They had a studio there. And then I was kind of shocked. Bob's mixes didn't sound that good. So the bass player told me about this rap engineer, producer that he thought could give me a better mix. So I let him listen to mix one song, and it blew my mind how good it was. I kind of took the music out of the studio. I don't think Bob liked that, but I just wanted it to be sonically decent. But yeah, I'd love to do that. It's a lot of fun. You can kind of hear my part in Great White when you strip me away from the band. You know what I mean? It's like, whoa, okay, yeah, that's the.
Mark, those are all the questions I have for you today. Great White Rocks. Great White Rocks Warehouse Live Midtown in Houston, Texas on April 26th with Quiet Riot, Slaughter, and Lilac. And then you guys are going to be everywhere, and people can head over to your website to find out where. Yeah,
we play San Antonio after that. And just go on our website, officialgreatwhite.com, and I'm on Facebook and all the mediums, Instagram, X, I guess they call it now. So I'm not hiding from anybody.
Well, thanks for talking to KNAC.com, and we hope to see you out there somewhere.
Thank you, George. Appreciate it, man.